Hi everyone, my name is Salim Rinola. You see, last October we told the story of 8 amazing Nigerian students doing really well in the open source space. And then we thought to ourselves, now we understand the story of those doing amazing things by contributing to open source. We had students who contributed through Google Summer of Code. We had students who contributed through Outreach internship. We had students who contributed to Meta AI through the Major League Hacking internship. So we thought, we know how they're contributing. How about we learn more about the impact what they're contributing to is having in the real world? I mean, you contribute to these open source projects, you probably want to make real world impacts. Let's think about the impact. I would thought to ourselves, let's leave Nigeria for a while. Let's speak with 10 international students from 7 different countries and learn what they use open source to do in their day-to-day lives. From application of artificial intelligence in transportation to sales, computational field dynamics, 3D remodeling, virtual reality, chemistry, and even pharmacy. We spoke with students from diverse backgrounds, making use of open source tools for a variety of use cases. You want to hear the stories? Walk with me.
All right. My name is Farzin Nafis. My parents are originally from Bangladesh, but they moved here to America. I was born and raised here.
My name is Chidaran Gwadam. My country of origin is Nigeria.
My name is Gurthaj Singh. I was born in Michigan and I've grown up in the United States all my life and down in Texas.
I am Vanina and I am from Cameroon.
So, hello everyone. I am Abib Shadash. I'm from India.
I currently attend the University of New Orleans, where I study computer science with a focus in machine learning and AI. This summer, I've been working on building 3D reconstructions of plants and other objects, help farmers collect data on these. Going back all the way to like middle school, I would be joining every single sport there was in the local playgrounds. But I also really love math and joined multiple math clubs. Always loved to go to like competitions. I started entering high school. Is high school okay for now? Yeah. I started entering high school. I met this awesome professor whose just passion for computer science really shone on to me. Instead of just the basic course where he taught us Java, he also pulled us aside if we were interested to teach us things like Photoshop and Adobe and other Adobe softwares, which I found really interesting. And so ever since then, I've just been really dedicated in spending some of my alone time to computer science and coding. Played all the sports when I was a kid, and I played a bunch of sports when I was a kid. Huh? Basketball. I still play basketball. Yeah. Struck my freshman year. So freshman and sophomore year, I was mostly at home. One of my basketball seasons, but I didn't do much during those years, which I would say really stunted a lot of things I could have potentially done. But I'm thankful for where I ended up, because by junior year, like I mentioned, I had that awesome professor who just made sure all of us enjoyed what we were doing. He gave us different tracks to learn on in his classes. And yeah, I think my parents wanted me to do computer science when I was like younger. They knew some PhD student and they would try to convince him to teach me some basic programming principles. But back in middle school, I wasn't that interested. Then in the beginning of high school, I was just super unsure. Like with every grandparent wants you to become doctor, lawyer, engineer. And I'm like, maybe I could join math enough to study engineering or something like that. But again, everything ties back to that one professor who really ignited my love for computer science in junior year. I've been fully smooth sailing. When I begun, I was very much in love with it. Just how functional everything was. Everything followed some sort of structure. And then eventually, as I got more into the community, I started seeing computer science principles like on my social media. Discovered that maybe, hey, some of these fields I'm not all that interested in. Certain sides of development just seem more like a hassle than challenging my brain. And so I started questioning, do I really want to do this? But luckily, as all the different fields of computer science, eventually I found intelligence, and I feel like that's been the combination of brain stimulation and programming that I really wanted. For me, it wasn't too hard because I ended up going to a college relatively close to my home. Say high school probably hadn't prepared me for the amount of studying I'd be doing in college. I kind of got by in high school, but the transition wasn't too bad, I'd say. I still struggled to make friends maybe the first semester, but I'm thankful right now. I have my group, my support system. Oh yeah. The people around me right now are a little bit older than me. 1-2 years. I've already taken a lot of the courses that I'm currently taking. And honestly, but they're also just really fun people. We go out every weekend. Of them, like most of them are older than me, but some of them are like in class with me. Because of them, classes aren't completely boring. But yeah. So okay, started at high school. We didn't really have a programming adjacent club per se, but it was very easy to find people who also enjoy our programming classes as much as I did. And we would often be in that classroom during lunch talking together or working on different things. And that community just like, it kind of you stay on task, I feel like. Would feel pressured, but not in a bad way, to go to that class during lunch and work on extra stuff if I felt like it, not just take the day off. And then growing up to college, had a few small clubs where I've met a bunch of awesome people. These clubs, I've learned a lot of more soft skills than I have per se skills. I feel like most technical skills I've developed by myself or in class. But leading our chapter, which is American Computing something, I forgot the M actually. But our ACM chapter has taught me how to like me organize events for other incoming students. And it's been really great to see, just like feel like the actions that I'm taking are helping the next generation learn more about computer science. I feel like in the current age where everybody is fearful of their job getting taken by AI, getting pretty good at coding at this point, if you have these soft skills, you can feel just fine. Because if you can code and why you're doing something or the changes you are going to make, that's an important skill. There's a lot of people out there who know what they want, who know the end goal they want, but don't know how to get there. And if you can explain what you're doing to get to their end goal, then you are an attractive candidate, I feel like. Research. Let's see. Well, I wanted to get some sort of experience. I know that in summer, I didn't want to be bumming around in my house all the time. So I wanted to get some sort of experience. So the first thing that I discovered at my school was a simple research experience for 1 semester. And I applied to a specific professor and they luckily accepted me. And I got to be part of his lab for a semester. And I got to see PhD students and master's students also carry out their research in that same lab. And so watching them week by week give their updates on what they were doing, I thought what they were doing was super cool. I thought the sense of community that we got in the lab was super cool. Everybody was super supportive of, hey, it's okay if you had an off week, you didn't get much done because of this or that. And I know I wanted to do something for the summer, so I started looking up just summer research undergrad opportunities. And the whole process eventually helped me find the National Science Foundation's REU website, where you can just scroll all of them essentially. I just typed in artificial intelligence or AI into the search bar, and I started hitting apply to a bunch of them. And luckily, I was accepted to here, REU Trace. I would say close to 20. To me, it feels like nothing compared to what some of my other friends have done applying for like internships. They have like spreadsheet with 200, but I'm thankful that 20 got the job done for me. Yeah.
Space volume for you.
I'd say I feel like it's a good mix of just the college experience. I'm dorming with a bunch of people my age that have similar interests as me. We go out every now and we go out pretty often, even during at night. But then in the morning, we all have our own work to do. And it's not like I'm forced to be in a lab 9 to 5 or anything like that. I can go to the library. I can go back to my dorm if I'm feeling unwell and just work on it. And I can still work on it from there. And even say it's 10 p.m. and I didn't do as much during that day, I can just start working and I feel good. I don't feel like I'm forced to do that work. I want to do that work at that time. True. So we go out into the field, or we have fake test plants, and we record a video. We go around them with different sort of devices, iPhones or robots, record them. And then from that video, what we want to do is create a 3D model that you might see in like Game Engine or Blender or something like that. And so they recently, like past 5-6 years-ish, the technology for making these 3D models has gotten a lot better with the release of things like neural radiance fields and Gaussian splats. So my main research has been the outputs of these two models, seeing which one is better, seeing which one can render faster, especially in a game. But we've also been trying different newer techniques, such as converting the output of a neural radiance field to a Gaussian splat. Should I explain what a neural radiance field is a little bit? Yeah. Neural radiance field, the simplest way I can explain it is it's a neural network where the input is the XYZ coordinate of a pixel, and the output is some color for that pixel and some density for that pixel. Now, there's a lot of complicated steps in between, obviously, but that's the simplest way I can put it. And these kind of revolutionized the field of 3D reconstruction a few years ago. And more recently, Gaussian splatting, it has a bunch of Gaussian, I can imagine just footballs, and they optimize these Gaussian size, all these things, so that when you look at the Gaussians, it eventually forms an image. Again, it seems like magic, but people who made these are really smart, and there's a lot of math behind this. Oh, for sure. So the main thing that I've been using is called Nerf Studio, which makes using these two technologies trivial. While I definitely understand the underlying math and programming principles for neural radiance fields and Gaussian splats, I didn't want to deal with the hassle of like them up myself or changing things in like code that people already developed. Nerf Studio has been an open source, essentially, that just makes interacting with them and building models from them super duper easy. My dream job, I would say probably AI researcher, but that's very broad. I could be studying, I feel like the first thing that comes to people's mind is working at like AI and making ChatGPT better. I don't know if that's my dream job per se. It would definitely be interesting because I think the things they do over there are very cool, but just some sort of application of AI where I am on the cutting edge of new model architecture. I'm developing new innovative layers, and I feel like in order to do that, I have to have a deep understanding of math as well as understand why the models do what they do. So we'll leave it at a broad AI researcher for now and see what that takes me. It's okay. Most likely going to apply for a PhD. So in 5 years, I'd be about finishing up. So hopefully I would be researching AI either in academia or in industry. I've always been, prospect of teaching has always been in the back of my mind because I always enjoyed tutoring kids in college and high school. So maybe a teacher at a smaller school or perhaps just a new grad AI researcher. So how much did my childhood affect my trajectory? I would say okay, sure. My dad was a researcher, honestly. And so whenever I mentioned I would always be I would try to join like Fort at the playgrounds as a kid. My dad was there for basically all of my games. And I know that's like the most common thing ever. People's dads are busy, they have lives. But with his research, he was just so flexible with when he went. He might go on Saturdays for like 2 hours, but it was okay because that meant he could pull up to my basketball or baseball games at 5 p.m. on Monday. And that was really awesome. He has videos of me playing and of us celebrating after a win or something. And those are just precious memories. So that flexibility has been a major thing that I want in the future. Thank you for having me.
I am schooling at Amherst College and I study computer science and psychology. So I am the youngest of 4 and the daughter of Nigerian immigrants. Coming into being first generation Nigerian American, I don't know, I grew up with a mixture and a blend of appreciation for both cultures, and I've grown a love for music and dance. I don't know, and music in general. So growing up I went to a private Catholic school, and as different as it was for my other friends who grew up with the same background as me, who went to public schools, I think that it opened me up to seeing a life in which Americans lived comfortably and rarely had to struggle, rarely had to just simply enjoyed the things that they went to the lake every so often, had a boat, had fishing things, or just went to go golfing. And those things were foreign to me because those are not the things that I consider things that you would enjoy. But I think dwelling and going to school with them opened my eyes to a different world that I didn't know was possible. And then also playing volleyball with a lot of my teammates made me appreciate having friends from both sides, from that side as well. I think although I don't use them much in academia, that they have been essential roles in the way that I have developed discipline and structure in my life. So volleyball and sports has always been a thing that has kept me aligned, and then music has always been a thing that has been a getaway whenever things feel heavy and I need an outlet in order to express myself. Volleyball is also a place where I feel like I could express myself, but it also could be a place where, again, I'm taught how to sometimes put certain priorities over my own. So if it's a team sport, in which volleyball is, I put my teammates' priorities over myself, or if I am feeling nervous, just developing ways in which I can deal with that or cope with that when it's time for me to put those things aside, such as being that person who's serving at game point, or being the person who just shouldn't make that mistake. So volleyball is a game of mistakes, but learning how to deal with that even if you make a mistake or when you do. Oh, I was always getting straight A's. If I was perfect on paper, I believe that I would be perfect in real life. Obviously not true, but I definitely cared about how I looked on paper. So I was doing all the right things. I was president of and the founder of the BSU there. I was a part of and a captain of the volleyball team. I was a teacher's pet. I did well in all the classes, but that never was enough or gave me fulfillment in what I did. Because the things that mattered to me were what other people cared about. So it wasn't really what I wanted to do. I think I was just people pleasing mostly. So it started with true crime, believe it or not. I was obsessed with the way people think. And my mom had seen me always question mystery, but just always be drawn to the way people think, mysteries, and just detective solving crime. So she had her master's, or not her master's, her bachelor's in computer science. And she was like, what's a way in which I could tie the two together? And she introduced me into cybersecurity, and I got into this boot camp at NC State University. And from there, just got more interested into the way that robots think, the way that computers think, and the way that I could just tie that into computer science. The expectations are different. I thought that it's just a one and done. You get your degree and you're done. But academia and college is like you're ever learning, and you have to constantly, especially in computer science, be up to date with what is coming out. So I would say it's definitely not what I expected. I also did not know that computer science is so vast, and cybersecurity was only one area in which I had knowledge about, not expertise, but knowledge. And so I got into AI machine learning, which I'm doing now. I was looking at UX design and just other things, but nothing interested me in that way. So I would say that in terms of what you need to know and what you need to learn, it's definitely different than in high school. Oh, the idea that I can build and make anything that could solve my personal problems or other people's. I have a passion for, again, as I said before, how people think and those issues regarding what I've seen in my real life. And so when I was introduced to just building a model or building things that you could eventually help other people with, I think that's what drew me to AI. Not all people. Well, I would say people who look like me and who don't look like me. I would say the people who people don't think about first. So my RU is about my specific project let me break this down. So the overall RU is about AI and machine learning, but blending computational chemistry together. And then my specific project is about how serine proteases, which is a type of enzyme in your body that breaks things down, interact and function in my cell environments. So really just studying how serine proteases interact and analyzing the different types of bonds that they have to other molecules. And so I'm building a model that can easily predict how well or how strong that bond is. And the overall goal is to figure out, or at least help with drug design. So in drug design, these proteases that are in our body, it can just help a quicker, faster, more accessible drug design that can help bring out medicine quicker. So that's the overall goal, to build a model that can predict what is the best molecule or what is the best drug for that, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's clear. It has been a journey. It's still a journey. Not easy, especially not having as much of a background in machine learning as I did. Even in school, what you're learning through a book is not the same thing as what you're learning in real life. So dealing with real experimental values is something different than literature value or just cleaner data in general. So just navigating how to feature engineer everything is a challenge. So I use a series of things. So before we even got into the machine learning part, or I did, we had to analyze and really understand our data, because my mentor believes that if you know your data well, then you'll know how the model or neural network is supposed to act. So we started off with using, well, I use Python every day, but we started off with using Colabs to understand how Python works, just the intro basic levels of how to upload a CSV file, how to read the data, and how to, from that data, make visuals using Plotly, Matplotlib, NumPy, Seaborn. And then we moved into docking and using AutoDock and DiffDock in order to analyze more complex molecules with the protein. So it's called protein ligand binding. And then I did this a bit earlier where we used things like Open to mimic simulations between those molecules. And then later on, which is what I'm doing now, I'm using an IDE called VS Code, where you can just I'm using an IDE called VS Code, Hub, Git, in which I upload and use those things. It's pretty straightforward when you get to the machine learning part, but not many tools that are foreign to people outside of research. Oh, when I first got there, I went this past January and December. It was bittersweet, because when I got there, I was told about a place that is called my home. And when I got there, I felt like home. But in the way that when you can see the mindset in which people live in when you get there, and it's kind of just like, it's kind of sad to see where it's came from. Often, not really. No, the last time I went was when I was 2 for my grandfather's funeral. But the last time I went was then. I feel like I never really got to see other people from different backgrounds until I got to college. But growing up here, I have a really nice, strong Nigerian community in North Carolina that is Catholic, and so we'd have conventions all over the country and stayed in touch with my roots. So I have a strong presence in my life. However, when it came to blending those things together, sometimes in school, it would be hard to balance those things at the same time. To be proud of being Nigerian, but then also have people not understand what it means to be Nigerian or to be from somewhere else. Sometimes learning how to educate your friends about what it means to be Nigerian. Can I cook? I can cook any, but I don't know what my favorite would be. I think my favorite would be, that's too hard. Suya. Because if you're thinking Igbo dishes or just like, I think it has to be either obona or okra soup. I think one advice I would give is just to apply it as much as possible. I feel like in a field where you have so many competitors, just going with the one that's available is gonna help you expose yourself to something that you never imagined that you would have exposed yourself to. So applying to as many as possible. I think in order to prepare, it starts with the little things. It starts with the curiosity that you have. It starts with talking to people who already have PhDs or probably have experience with research in general. And yeah, get your name out there possibly. I think most off, just if you have questions, going to the people who have those questions. So in your school, people like that.
My parents are from Punjab, India. I'm currently attending Texas A&M University, and I'm going to be studying business there. Growing up, young Todd was a little chaotic. I was just really excited about everything. I was probably loud. My brother, I have a twin brother, and we just go around just terrorizing things growing up, seeing coloring walls or things like that. I don't know. But I've always really liked technology growing up. We always loved playing video games. We loved for looking at computers. I remember when we got our first computer in the house, I was excited. We used to play a bunch of games on them. So yeah. We used to play everything. We used to play games, card games. Was a huge thing growing up. My sister had a Nintendo 64, which is one of older Nintendo consoles. So we would always play Mario Party on that. So yeah. High school, man, the time. So going into high school, I wasn't in the best place. I probably missed or skipped days of school throughout the year, and it was just not a good time. I was during the pandemic, so I felt really isolated, and I knew nobody at my high school because it was just online. I would just start up the computer in the morning. I would do the meeting, and then I'd just fall asleep, and I wouldn't do anything. And then I decided to switch schools sophomore year, and I went to an early college high school. So I went to a different school. I knew nobody there, and it was just a completely new start for me. I started joining all these organizations. I like making so many friends. I was really like my shell before, like a huge social anxiety. I couldn't really speak to anybody before. I would get really nervous really fast, just like being in a public setting. But over time, in high school, man, I was able to come out of my shell. I was able to like a few leadership positions in different clubs. I would just like my own organizations. Like I led a service organization. I led the medical organization. I led the business organization. I joined all these competitions and succeeded. I did really well. I went to nationals for a few. I even been like a national champion for the Future Business Leaders of America Collegiate. Like I just completely went out of my shell there. And so, yeah, school was just a huge turning point in my life for me. Community or community is such a huge thing. Like my friends and people who've been supporting me, like at the time, I don't know where I'd be right now. I've just found so much help and so much inspiration. I feel like you need mentors and you need people behind you in your life to like succeed and push forward. Cause I know I would be in a completely different spot right now without like a community, my friends, my family, my mentors, my teachers, my professors who have like me towards the man who I am today. Yeah, I'd love to. I have so many. Shout out Ms. Zettner. Shout out Jason from track, man. He's had such great conversations with me and he's been really pushing me. Here, I was a little scared to network, a little scared to meet new people and like outside my project and things like that. But man, Jason's been just trying to put me on to people like me, like you show up and if you just try entering that room or you try like your voice in some place, you will be heard. So shout out Jason. I think sophomore year when I was talking about how I was missing a bunch of school, I really wasn't there. It was like the pandemic and everything. Applied for this one program and it was called the Hugh O'Brien Leadership Program. So every year at my high school, they send one sophomore to this program, and it's like leadership development thing. It lasts like days, and like tries applying for it, but only one person gets the spot. So I don't know what really compelled me to go apply for this. I was like out of it. I wasn't joining any organizations. I didn't really have any friends, but like just thought, I'll do it. And then when reviewing the applications, the teachers, the panel, the board, they were looking and they're like, oh, Todd doesn't come to school. So why would we pick him? And this one woman, her name is Miss Johnson, she said, may not come to school all the time, or maybe he's like a little isolated, but he always finishes his work. So, like, he's not always there and maybe he's out of it and maybe he's not participating. He always makes sure to get everything done. And I guess she saw some potential in me that I didn't see. And, to that leadership, to being selected for that really allowed me to like talk about like my shell and open up to people. So I really thank her for me in the right direction and seeing potential in me. For me, I've always just never known what I want to do. I know some people like growing up, they're like, oh, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be an engineer. For me, it was never like that. I never felt like truly compelled to work in a certain area or a certain place. So growing up, I would see my sister, she works in the tech space and business. She sells software. My uncles and my aunts, they all started their own businesses. And I thought, wow, you're doing such great things. My aunt, she opened up like a dental clinic and she's over there helping people in Canada, low income people, finding access to medical care. And I thought, wow, that's just so amazing. Or my other aunt who like in the medical space, but she also opened up her own hospital and trying to get care to people who need it the most. And I thought, that's just so wonderful. And I was like looking at it in high school, trying to decide senior year, do I want to do medical? Do I want to do business? Do I want to do engineering? Do I want to do any of these things? And I'd always really liked tech. So I wasn't really too in the medical side of things. And I'd always wanted to start my own business, something of my own that I create. So I thought, I should go into business this year and I'll try seeing if I can do a little blend between like management information systems to combine my passions for technology and for wanting to start my own things. And so lately I've been doing a deep dive into that and just so many AI business startups around the country that have just been blossoming, especially after a huge surge that we've seen in like IT, artificial intelligence, all these things. So I'm super excited to learn more. I'm transferring to a new institution this year. So I've met already some people in like starting their own businesses and stuff, and I just can't wait to be a part of that. Man, what a great question. So applying to this program, you're not too tech savvy. I had very minimal coding knowledge before coming here, doing the boot camp, doing things like that. So when I was looking on applying for things for this summer, I was thinking, what can I do that will help me reach my goals? And right now, one of my big goals is learning more about the emergency services and AI combination. So in Houston or in Texas, like this year, there was huge floods, and it was Christian girl camp where all these Christian girls were staying at a place called Camp Mystic, and it got completely flooded. And so many people in Central Texas passed away or they're missing, and it's been so many days and like people haven't been found. And I was just like, that broke my heart. Natural disasters, plane crashes, floods, things like this. I don't know why specifically they tug at my heart. I feel like a little bit more than most things. So I wanted to like and get into the use of artificial intelligence in emergency disaster response. And lately I've been finding so many startups in that space. So I was thinking, if I want to get into one of these organizations and maybe start my own one day, I need some coding knowledge. I need to learn how to translate like applications of AI to business, to emergency services, to things like that. So I thought this would be a great program to just throw myself out into and see like the waters and see if I would really like coding and things like that. And I've had such a great time here. I've met so many cool people. I've learned so many things. And I'm super thankful that as a business major, I applied for this artificial intelligence program. Yeah, I worked in the marketing department in this program, and we're using Sora, video AI generation, to see if we can speed up the process of some loans. So in developing countries, might need seeds, they might need tools, increase their business, or people who sell clothing might need more fabric or things like that. And we're using a website called Kiva, similar to GoFundMe, where these farmers, these tailors, they go onto this website and they try requesting some money for loans. They're called microloans because they're small loans. And they're trying to get some money and raise some money so that they can what they do, improve their communities, contribute to the economies, etc. And we're trying to use artificial intelligence software and video generation, specifically Sora from OpenAI, to see if we can use these like embedded with rhetorical and sustainability rhetoric that will maybe increase their chances of securing a loan or securing the funding that they need. So that's what we're running a research on right now. Man, it was hard at first because I had never used Python before. I never used APIs. I've never automated things. So this was definitely, I hit a learning curve, but I've had so many great people here supporting me. People not even in like project, just helping me out, teaching me a few things. If I ever have a question, I know I have someone like to give me an answer, which has been such a great experience. There is one thing that I'd say that you didn't learn. We're all talking about how it's becoming this such big thing, and it very much is, but there are huge limitations on that I found. In this video generation process, I found that AI isn't as smart as we all think it is. I'll ask AI to a video of this woman selling bananas, and she'll just start selling like things that look like bananas, but they're not, to clones of herself, and pretty random. So I've learned that intelligence, yeah, huge. It's definitely on the come up, but are some limitations to it and what it to offer. What difference would I be from learning in the US? What a great question. I feel like I've met so many people from so many different areas here, so many different perspectives and stories that they bring. And I've just seen like hardworking they all are. Like, met so many Indian international students who just are absolutely insane at coding, insane at like intelligence. They know everything. They've been grinding for so long, and they're very passionate about what they do. So much so that you had offers to work at Microsoft this summer, or you did these other like, and they chose to come here to do research and with no stipend, no pay, but they're choosing to come here instead just because they want to learn more and they want to contribute to research. And I just think that's so amazing that they're so strong-willed in what they believe and what they value that they would end up on some corporate place where they'd be able to for sure find good jobs later on and for their career development. But instead, they're just so passionate about research and wanting to more about the world and contribute to society. And I think that's just such a wonderful thing. Yeah, no, my biggest piece of advice is apply, man. Just send the application. I'm a business major, no coding experience, very minimal technology experience. I applied and I'm here, man. And I've just had such a great summer because I chose to my name on that form and press submit. And it's not like you're going to apply to one program and you're going to get into it. Man, I know so many people who applied to so many programs. I met people who applied to 200 internships for a summer and they just get one offer. And that one offer is all you need. You just need one. So send as many as you can. Be very about what you do. Make sure to tailor your applications to whatever you're applying for. And yeah, just know that each and every one of you is going to get this position and you're going to do something great. So just make sure to apply so you can do that. My dream job, man, I just want to have my own business one day. Just been so inspired by so many people who have started their own thing, and I just feel like it just adds such like personal touch to it. And I'd love to one day have my AI own, like where I'm working on a disaster relief or emergency services or anything like that, because you're where my heart lies right now. Oh, thank you so much, man. This has been so fun. What a cool experience.
I'm transferring to the University of Houston to major in electrical and electronics engineering. Right now, I'm doing research at Iowa State University in the Virtual Reality Application Research Center, and my 5G is Aero. Travel was really long. It was a 1-day travel long, and I came to the United States 4 years ago in 2021. I was still in high school. I was grade, so yeah, I was in the 11th grade, and I came with my family. Travel was pretty how would I say, joyful. Um, I grew up, what would I say? Yeah, I grew up with my grandparents, and I was last child because I had some brothers. It was really joyful, feel like with a lot of travels. My grandma used to travel a lot, and that is one part of my childhood, for example, that I miss. I used to travel a lot with my grandma by bus, train, plane, just choose it. Yeah, the travels. My grandmother, the travels, yeah. I like the travels, especially buses and planes. I'm trains plane. Because I was most of the time I was traveling by plane to go in another country to see my parents. But by train and buses it was mostly to just visit my grandmother. And I think that of my childhood kind of opens in my mind in terms of discovery. I made a lot of discovery throughout for the travels I had. Young Vanina was, in terms of academics, she was really smart, and she struggled with failure. When I'm about failure, it's not really like failure go really down, but when she wasn't, let's say, the first in terms of academics, she was really really, how would I say it, like heartbroken a little bit. Even though she didn't have this pressure from my parents or my surrounding that you have to be so better. It was just like if that I was putting on myself to be always the best. So that was how Vanina was. And she enjoyed everything, math, science. I mean, it's cool when she was still a kid, yes. Speak three, let's say three languages and one like I kind of lost my speaking. So I speak French. French is my first language, and then English is my second. No, this is my first language, and then I have my native language, which is Homala, and then English, which is kind of English is my second language because I learn it in school, and I see it like on a regular basis. And then I have German that I learned for like 4 years, and then I stopped German when I came to the United States. So I kind of lost speaking, but I can still understand it. Bonjour, je m'appelle Vanina et je suis camerounaise. Je suis bamileke, mais j'ai grandi à Douala. So academy, when I got here, I thought I would be put back in terms of academy because I know that is usually how they do. But they didn't do that for me. I don't know why and how. So I just continued to 11th grade. And I noticed that what I was doing in 11th grade here was what I did, for example, in 8th grade in Cameroon. So I was feeling boring, and at the same time, I was feeling bored. I mean, at the same time, it was a lot of time wasted for me because I don't know, I knew so I needed interesting stuff to do. It was just something like that I already. So I feel like the system, I mean, at my experience, the system is more behind in a lot. I missed like I thought when I was by the way when my parents knew that we were coming here, I told them I'm not coming because I wanted to stay with my friends. But of course, they will not. They will me to say no. So we just came. But when I came, I was, how would I say, almost, I would say depression, because I was missing my friends most of the time, and they were also kind of missing me. That was a huge, I would say even till now, it's like a huge missing me to not my friend. So I struggle with that a lot. Yeah, I am so in touch with them. I lost some because I travel. I can understand what they were feeling, but I don't know. There are some that I didn't tell that I was traveling, and so I lost them, but I'm still in touch with some others. So when I came to the US, first of all, I came during winter, and when I was leaving Cameroon, it was so hot there. Like, it's literally a city in most of the year. Like, during 9 months, they're hot, and then 3 months it's like raining. I came, it was so cold, and at the beginning it was to kind of adapt to that environment. And also in terms of food, I didn't really miss the food when I came here, because in Houston, where I came, like where I living even right now, in Houston, we have like a lot of food in terms of even African markets. So I'm just the same thing as in Cameroon, even though there are some dishes like really traditional dishes you can't find here. You have to like import from Cameroon, stuff like that I miss. Most of the dishes that I eat are from Cameroon. But if I eat outside, those would be like American dishes, or at least not Cameroonian dishes. Now, in terms of the social cultures, that was the shock that I had. So in Cameroon, I was more used to have friend, or like know being a lot with my community, like in the street. Here it was just like you are inside. You are literally not outside, or at least you don't even know like who is your neighbor or some stuff like that. And so I just came. So I couldn't, how would I put that? I couldn't really be in touch with my neighbors. So that was kind of a shock. So you're lonely, and yeah, when you're new, you don't really know anyone. That is struggle. So I would say that is where the shock that I had, being lonely compared to Cameroon. So in high school, like, I wanted to finance at the beginning of high school. Not because I was so interested in finance, but I don't know, it just seemed so fun to me, and seeing like accounting, because I should go to the bank with my grandmother, and seeing like accountants in the bank, it was just so, how would I say, that corporate was just so fun to me. So I said I want to do finance. Then when I got to ninth grade, I changed to robotics, because I think I don't know, but there was kind of a trend seeing in shows in terms of showing robots, stuff like that. And it seemed so fun, and I was really interested in math, science, stuff like physics. So I decided I'm going to do robotics. Then in 10th grade, I changed. I said I'm going to be an astronaut, because again, it was fun to travel in space, and how would I say, it was kind of a dream at that time to travel in space. So I said, okay, I'm going to be an astronaut. I'm going to travel in space and work at NASA. Then I think I still had that, like, I was in being an astronaut till 12th grade, when I was doing, and I found this Cameroonian NASA scientist, which Dr. Ernest Simo, and I saw his background. He did electrical engineering. So I said I'm going to major in electrical engineering, but I was still thinking about being an astronaut. Then when I got into college, I just changed. I just didn't want to be an astronaut anymore. I can't really give an explanation, but I just changed. I wanted to be now an engineer. So first of all, in high school, you don't really think about the career, and academic is much more slower. At least when I the US, so the pace of studies, it was so slow. But when you get to college, it's like you have things going on in terms of like assignments and everything. That was kind of a struggle for me to manage, because you almost don't have like a social life. Always have to do something. Even during the weekend, you can't rest. Have to do something related to school. And I don't really like this part, and I still struggle with that. But a little bit compared to like during my first year, it was a huge struggle. And what else? Yeah, also about like career. Like freshman, you start, you have like conversation with career, and how would I say? it's not a struggle, but it's kind of interesting how in high school they don't really talk to you about career, but in college it's kind of you have every time, or at least every time, maybe change your choices. It has to fit what you want to do in life, stuff like that. So it's interesting seeing that. So during my sophomore year, my first semester, during the fall 2024, I'm sorry, I did the NASA Aerospace Academy, which is an academy, mission concept academy, which is part of the Lucy mission of NASA. So I was doing a project. It was a conceptual project, not really a real project, but a conceptual project about the exploration of the Mertranquita pit. So I was the engineer of my team and also an outreach officer, but that was my secondary role. So my primary role was being the electrical engineer, which consisted of designing the electrical subsystem. What will we need? How much power battery? And also the circuit diagram, and finding the contractor. Where will we buy this? Are we manufacture it ourselves, or just buy like a contractor, choose some stuff like that? So that was my job as an electrical engineer. Then as an outreach officer, I had to like build a plan. The plan was how are we going to talk about our project to any audience out there? Like how are we to go out there and talk about our project and reach out to people? So it was I learned a lot of stuff like project management, planning, a lot of team working, because we were in different locations. So at some point there were some people available. You have to you have the right time to schedule a team meeting, some stuff like that. And that where I said to myself that I'm probably never going to work remotely, because that is so difficult. Yeah. Where I was NASA, no, I didn't. We didn't really open source. What we use, Gmars. I didn't use that software, but yeah, maybe small Microsoft Excel, but not really big. Yeah. And also some small, what would I say, database for contractors. I don't think those are not during the same semester, because I was doing that, and I was in part of my academics. I was taking two honors classes, which are in my college research classes. So I was doing physics and philosophy. And when I was studying, I was still not really interested in research, but just when I followed the process, and when I learned more about the fact that research is more about like finding the path, the solution, or just analyzing and contributing to some knowledge, I then became interested to research. And I said that I am probably going to do research. I mean, I am do research at some point in my career. So what I'm on right now is about using virtual reality and integrating and integrating for education. So I think I can just talk about the surface, like what's the surface of project. I can't really go in depth. Okay, so I will do that. Let's say that in a game, but the game like a virtual real game. How would I say? You are in a seems real, but you're not really in the real environment, like in the real of the game. So you're playing a game which is going to teach you about cybersecurity. And basically cybersecurity is just protecting some data. That's probably, is that clear enough? Or okay, let me reframe it. So it is basically a game. You are playing a game, but the game is not really for you. It's also for you to for you and enjoy, but not only, but you're going to kind of have some knowledge about like protecting your data. That is it. Really good, really good. I love like the program I am in right now, of how they are teaching us. They are really serious about what they are teaching. Every single thing is, how let's say, they are really putting their time and their resources to teach at least us on every aspect, which professional presentation, research, literature review, stuff like that, experiment, and most importantly, virtual reality. So I really like the fact that so far I've learned like four stuff. One of new which is SolidWorks, but I learned like C++, Blender, Unity, I didn't know before. And yeah, I really like outdoors activity, playing with my fellow interns and just exploring aims. I mean Iowa in general. So I work with Unity. Unity for and it is really Unity and also GitHub actually, because the program of the environment is into GitHub, and then I have to export it into Unity in order the environment and made all the modification that we have to make. I really like it because it allows for some creativity. The side that I would say I don't like is the fact that it has a lot of options, a lot of properties that you need to know. You might click something and it's gonna give you something so wrong, and maybe it's gonna mess up your whole environment, which is not really good. But yeah, it allows for a lot of creativity, and also the coding part, the C# coding package. So Vanilla is planning to do probably academia or industry research in the future. Um, I would say this is next for Vanilla. So doing more research, and before like their professional life, Vanilla is planning to do more research during her undergraduate experience. I'm planning to do more and more and more research. Hopefully, because the university to which I'm going is a really top research university, hopefully I will find a lot of opportunities there. I don't know if I'm going to do more virtual reality or more hardware electronic based research. I don't know. To be real, for the company, I don't really know. But for my job title, probably drone engineer. Yeah. So I am Joyce Gemsop-Fethier. I am from Cameroon and I go to the University of Houston. Oh? No, I don't think. I mean, that no was so fast, but I don't think it's going to take our jobs. Probably going to create more jobs because they'll need for people to work to make those AI work. Maybe AI is going to take some jobs but create also more jobs. Yeah. Any open source I use? I think research should be more open source because research is actually like the foundation for knowledge. So yeah, it should be open source. Windows, late nights, books. I don't like podcasts. YouTube. Okay, going to the gym. What am I listening to? Nueva York by what is it? Bad Bunny. Prison Break. I go to Aero again. Aero. It's a Cameroonian dish. Yeah. Wow, that's a really good. I don't really, because I still need to explore both of the sides. So far, I don't really know. Both has some inconvenience. So mentee, feel like I don't really have the experience. It depends. It depends. It will be Aero because I like it's my favorite dish first, and then just because I don't know, that food has a lot of, I don't know. I need to study that. I don't know why it's so good. I just want, yeah. The impact of, oh, I probably need to think the impact of community. Okay. Okay. So our community is really important because just being in a community allows you to learn from others. Like, for example, just in the program where I am and working with people from different backgrounds, that is really nice because you get to learn how other people think, and you also get to like put how you in like any work that you're doing, or just even in your knowledge, just learning about other ways of thinking. That is probably the most important about being a community. And I feel like each human, like every human should probably be in a community. It doesn't have to be big, like it can just like a close circle. You need it to grow. Yeah. Thank you for me today, or for receiving me today. Yeah.
I am studying at the National Institute of Technology in Rourkela, which is in the east of India. I'm pursuing a major in biomedical engineering. Not many know what that is, but my focus really is on applications of artificial intelligence to healthcare. I'm from a really small city in India. It's not really urban or not really rural. It's the perfect mix of the both. So my school was not really a big school, but it was just good enough for me to have a curiosity and basically try to learn why and how things work. So that I carried into my college, which was the National Institute of Technology. We really have a good labs in our department, so that really led me to develop my curiosity, and the question of why led me to the United States of America. We have like mixture of primary, secondary, and high school, so it's all together in one. We don't have different schools for it. I started school at when I was 4. Yeah, it was like school and then preschool and all of those. So you start from really first grade to the 12th grade, and then after that you give a competitive exams like entrance exams into the universities. So I gave an entrance exam which was the JEE main. It was the joint entrance examination. That's the one you give if you want to get into engineering colleges. So yeah, like procedure for getting into from high school to university, you have to give entrance exams, which the entire country will be participating in. And then you get into university, there'll be a counseling session where you get to choose your branch, the one you want to study, which is allotted to you based on rank in the examination. You can't really choose that. You can pick, there's options like arts, commerce, and science. I chose science, and within science, you can choose whether you want physics, chemistry, maths, or biology, or you can also go for computer science in high school. So I went for physics, chemistry, maths, and computer science. Always had a soft corner for science. So I loved computer science and programming. So that's the other options were arts and commerce, which I would not prefer taking as a career. Yeah, I would not say like computers, but my parents are doctorates in science. So that kind of led me towards science and computer science, as you know, the trending, the cutting edge technology of today, and artificial intelligence is right at the top. So that just made me go towards it. The school I went to was the same one my sister was in, and she's my elder sister, and she's really perfect in everything. So I had that while growing up, and going into university, no one really knew me. So I had a chance to really build myself something new. No one really knew me, and I was free to do whatever I wanted. So that was like a new identity. Before that, I was just someone's sister. After that, I got to like Abibsha. I was not Abibsha before that. It is because not many have that experience, but when you have siblings in your own school, I had my sister as well as my brother in there. So I was a third to some extent. First year we were the first batch after the COVID pandemic. So we were the first offline batch. That was difficult for us as well as our professors. Several of the professors joined during COVID, so they had only been exposed to online classes, not offline. We were the first batch, so of course, grade dropped. Placements were like all over. The market is still not good, but our first year was really awesome. We really have good fests in our college. So we were like first batch after 2 batches to organize all those fests and everything. So that was really awesome, just doing everything yourself with no seniors to guide you because everyone was there for the first time in college. So that really taught us some leadership skills and management skills, communication, everything. No one was there to teach us. The major placement that students look for in colleges is like the software sector. So if you have a class of like people, assume 800 will be going for the software sector, and apart from that, 150 at least for the analytics and consulting, and the rest 50 will be going for core placements. That's how huge the software sector is in India. The final year of university, there will be companies coming over to your college to take students for full-time employment. So we universities have like week of placements. We have 2 semesters. So throughout the time, the companies will be coming into your university. The executives from the company will organize tests. They'll organize in-group discussion sessions and lots of other stages. There's multiple stages of selection. The ones who get selected are lucky. The ones who do not, well, They go for off-campus placements, like directly approach the companies outside of the campus during the placements. You remember the interview that Raju had after? That was the placement season. That's what he was threatened about. No, Three Idiots really is the reality of India. All the colleges in India, I would say. Controversial question. I would say all the facilities that these people get, like we get the facilities, but the universities have a restriction of funding and everything. So here the funding is enormous. They have access to everything. You can just see how many cameras are there in this room. And we might just want to get some more of the facilities. Maybe that would, but honestly, without that, people in India are doing really great. So we have a concept called jugaad, where you don't have things, but you make do with the things you have. So that kind of makes it better, I think. You get to do things without having anything. That's like a level of intelligence. Yeah, exactly. I didn't get that. I just moved into my final year, which is the 4th year. I did. In India, actually, in our batch, there used to be an older education policy, which meant that in the first year in all the engineering colleges, the students of all the departments have the same classes, they take the same subjects, so they're all together. After that, from the second year, we enter our departments. Then we have a different curriculum, each of the departments. So in the second year, I actually got to know what my department means. I got to know what research actually means. I started working with a professor in my lab, Dr. Mirza Khalid Beg. So he has really helped me a great deal. He was the one who introduced me to artificial intelligence, and I've done really a lot of great projects with him. Yeah. So he was the one who encouraged me to apply for this, and here I am. Definitely a lot more sure than I was in second year. I was completely blank in second year. Yes, there is easy, but things become easier when you have friends and seniors to help you out. The professors are really good, but definitely not easy to switch to a different place, new people. It's a new environment, it's a new city. So definitely not easy. Definitely not. Yeah, a year ago, I would definitely not believe it. Maybe 6 months ago, I would, because that's when I started applying to the internship programs. But a year ago, I was not believe it. A year ago, I did not have any clue about what AI is. I did not have any experience. I did not have a single project about artificial intelligence. I did not know anything. All of this happened in a year. So definitely not a year ago, maybe 6 months ago. Department is biomedical engineering. So my entire focus of research goes into biomedical and healthcare applications. I've worked on several projects, like there was a project about diabetes. Their lab was working on a closed loop diabetes management program. So I was working on a small part of it, like add metabolic activities to insulin production. So if you have an artificial pancreas and then you wish to integrate metabolic activities with it, how would the rate of insulin required differ? So that's the part I was working on. Then right now I'm working on few shot object detection and classification, and everything basically leads to biomedical and healthcare application. I've worked with biomedical imaging, I've worked with EEG signal, electroencephalography signals, electromyogram signal, and a lot of other signal processing entities too. First day I entered like the classroom, the boot camp we had, I saw people walking in with food. That was the biggest cultural shock I had. We are not allowed to have food in the classrooms. Yeah. After that, like a lot of subtle things. There's a lot of big things about the people here are more open-minded. They accept people as they are. We still have to get there. There are a lot of improvement in India. But yeah, the thing was the biggest cultural shock. The rest are kind of similar. Not that day, but someday, maybe. Someday, but that was the first thing I saw in class. I saw people walking in with coffee mugs and burgers, and I'm like, really? Yeah, maybe it's coffee or something. Yeah. So if I'm talking about my university life, it was waking up and then having breakfast and heading off to classes at 8 a.m. Classes get over at 5 p.m. After that, we have clubs and societies. There's a lot of clubs and societies. I'm a part of a painting club, so it's Chitrang. Yeah. We paint, we have an annual exhibition. So the work for that goes on for like 2 or 3 months. So we have a lot of clubs and societies, and then at night you hang out with friends and then you go to sleep. I joined the club in my first year. I love painting. I do paint a lot. That's the only thing I know apart from studies. Painting is the only thing I love ever since I was born. Also do graffiti on the walls. That's really exciting. It depends on what the research is actually. So the basic research that everyone needs access to should be open source. Like for example, the work I'm working on, like fusion object detection and classification, is essentially automating notation and object detection. So if anyone in a lab wants to annotate a data set of cell images from a microscope, they should be able to do it without needing another specialized person just for the classification or labeling. But if it's like classified or something that might be able to cause harm to the world, maybe it should not be open source. Not everything should be open source. Starting with open source, I would say Python was the first thing I was introduced to. An open source language is like the thing that can happen to the world. Python is really easy to work on. That was the first and only programming language that I use. Then apart from that, I have worked with GitHub. That really helps with version control. So if you have something like GitHub that can help you collaborate with people anywhere around the world, I think that's the best thing. There's also Hugging Face, which has like numerous APIs. There's OpenAI, the Google Studio, which can give you APIs to work with any model that you want. Like I'm Gemini and GPT-4o for my work. So I'm really grateful to them for keeping it open source. Then I've also used the libraries like open source libraries such as PyTorch, TensorFlow, and all the AI deep learning and machine learning pipeline. Like everything in AI, I would say, is open source to some extent that we would need in a daily basis. And it really helps people work on their things without having to worry about budgets or everything. Because I started with learning from tutorials in a small room in my institute, and then I ended up here. So that would not have been possible if it was not for open source, because I won't be able to invest in $1 million package or subscription for OpenAI or GPT. Something I'm a student after all. I don't have any other sources of income. Oh, that's okay. Impactful eureka moment I had was the first time I got 99% accuracy on my model. The very first time. That was for my diabetes management project, and I was using a CNN with a hybrid GRU model, and that was really the first time I saw 99% accuracy, and my heart really leaped out of my body, and I was like, oh my god, I did it. That was the very first model I worked on. After that, there have been moments, but none as good as the first one. The first one is like my first love. Maybe working on some project, or maybe I think I'll be doing PhD in some university. Not so. This is the way I'm going to explore the world. One internship, one MTech, one PhD at a time. That was a good guess. I do have lots. I would say Paris. I love the bakery food there. The next one would be Norway. I want to see the northern lights. And the third one will be Greece. I love Greek architecture. I have a dream company because I'm kind of starting something myself. Yeah, no companies. Dream role, well, no dream company, then no dream role. Okay, if you go for a dream role, maybe CEO of my own company. Don't stop. Never stop. You never know what's waiting around the corner. Like, that's not known to many, but there's a program that we have called the Korana program, which takes students from India from all over the colleges, and they can apply to literally any university in the entire world, and the funding will be provided by the program. I did apply for that. I got an acceptance letter from this very university, but there were some technical problems with the application, so I was not considered for that. Like, not with the application, technical problems with the website. So, but the things ended up like, don't stop where you fail sometime or something had a setback. Maybe success is just right around the corner. I don't really have a choice. I have to go back to my university. First thing I've eaten here, thing I want to eat. Okay, I'm Odisha. So we have a dish which is known as pokhara. It's essentially rice and water, and it's heavenly. I definitely want to eat that. Okay. Don't move. Yeah, I realized I don't eat while I'm coding. I don't really pay attention when I'm listening to songs. Let me see Spotify. You edit that part. What was the last thing I heard? Yeah, I'm top 1% of Spotify listeners. So I have thousands of minutes of Spotify every year. Maybe it was another 0 or something. Maybe. I remember a 2 at the beginning. I don't remember the rest of the numbers. Bollywood music. Arijit Singh. He's a Bollywood singer. Have you heard Sapphire, the new song of Ed Sheeran? Yeah. The guy, he's a lovely singer. Yeah. No, the one he collaborated with for Sapphire. Yeah. Collaborated it recently, like they did a different version with Arijit Singh. Yeah. I'm sure he loves it because of him.
Oh, I see. What was your favorite?
Yeah, Phoebe. I love her. Why?
What's the used app available?
Most used, I would say Spotify. I did. Thank you. That's true. That's a really good set of questions.